and welcome to 2019 Veterans Day Parade here in the city of Quincy. A little overcast today, but still a beautiful warm day. Coming up here is the Quincy Fire Department Engine 1. Behind that is the Fire Chief, and they are starting our parade today. Coming into focus is the Quincy Police Honor Guard and the Quincy Fire Department Honor Guard, who are at every parade in the city of Quincy. And behind them is our commander, the 93rd commander of the Quincy Veterans Council, Peter Walsh. And he's in a wonderful car owned by Paul Morelli. Peter's term is up in January, and Mr. Robert LaFleur will be coming in as your new commander 2020. Coming up here is the Vice Commander, Senior Vice Commander Robert LaFleur. Behind him is Director Nicholson, Mayor Koch, and the guest speaker Ryan Sagany, United States Naval. Hello, everybody. Coming into our focus now is the Caddy Detachment 124, Quincy, Massachusetts. Marine. Behind them is the 382 out of Squantum, Massachusetts. Coming up behind them is my beloved Cyril P. Morissette Post, and I want to thank the Ladies Auxiliary for putting the color guard together today. They look great. Coming up behind them is the Worcester Brass Band out of Worcester, Massachusetts. Post 380 out of Howes Neck. Behind them, the United States Coast Guard Honor Guard out of Boston, Massachusetts. This band here is the Windjammers out of Boston, Massachusetts. After them is the American Revolutionary, Sons of the American Revolutionary, firing their muskets. Love the uniforms. We all should wear these. Coming up behind them is United States Constitution. Out of course, Boston, Massachusetts, Charlestown, Massachusetts. Coming up in the van right now is the veterans that didn't feel like walking today. Driven by Charles Hurd, Junior Vice Commander of the Quincy Veterans Council. And our Gold Star families, Alicia Durkin with Jack Swanson. Norfolk County Sheriff's Department, or at operate each and every year. Officer Jack Keefe, Quincy native. It's my water. Sons of the American Legion, Paul Moody in his vehicle with Guy Ferris from Post 294, Squadron 294. Coming up here is the Dixie Crew Band out of Worcester, Massachusetts also. Coming up, Reese Across America, Christine Cugini, which kicks off on December 14th. She's looking for donations. Come on, let's get out there and donate and decorate a veteran's grave here in the city of Quincy, where they're all going to be taking place. 7,300 veterans' graves will be decorated. The Junior ROTC, 180 strong, here, who are here each and every parade, and they really make the parade look nice. Under the direction of Master Sergeant John DiLorenzo and Major Greg Jones, these kids have done a phenomenal job. What a beautiful day it is here today in the city of Quincy. A little overcast, but very warm. Here comes our Girl Scouts, who are here for us every year. Pack 472, I believe they are. I could be wrong. Cub Scout Pack 42 now approaching in front of us. More of the Boy Scouts, pack 42. Looking good. All in line, looks nice. Thank you for coming.
Our pleasure, anytime.
Cub Scout Pack 6 now approaching. They look so happy to be here, and they should be. National Guard 186 Battalion coming in focus now out of Quincy, Massachusetts. Hopefully the whole group will be back very shortly. Brewster Ambulance now approaching. Again, they are with us all the time. Thank you, Brewster. Brewster Ambulance. Ladies and gentlemen, now the Quincy High School, North Quincy High School marching band.
Stand by. We're going to play the national anthem. Benton, up! Again. There we go again.
Thank you all for joining us here for Veterans Day 2019 here in the city of Quincy. We hope to see you all next year. Please. Thank you.
Commander Peter Walsh. Organization is fully prepared for service, sir. Troops, 10, hut! Troops, parade, rest. Introduction by Master of Ceremonies George Bouchard.
Pete, you can sit down. You can sit down. Go ahead. Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for coming. Great crowd. It's a little warm today, which is very nice, but it's nice to see a great crowd here. Thank you. At this time, I'm going to announce the invocation with the Reverend John Jack Swanson. Reverend?
Right behind you, George.
Oh, there he is.
Thank you. I'm wearing a Brit poppy today. I don't know where I got it from, but many people don't realize that there were 5 colonial wars prior to the American Revolution. The second to the last one, King William's War, Massachusetts on her own raised a naval militia and a militia and took out the fortress at Louisburg, which is today Cape Breton. That's one reason why Massachusetts is a problem child with the Brits before the Revolution, because the Crown gave it back to the French. We have a wonderful heritage. Men from this community have served not only those 5 colonial wars, but all the wars since then. Today is their day. We honor them. Let's come together in the spirit of prayer. Heavenly Father, bless, O Lord, these proceedings. Keep us ever mindful of the cliche that freedom is not free is true. Lord, today we remember those who died and left no name, but yet they have gifted us with this nation. Respecting all faiths, I pray in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
You ready, Peter?
Ready.
I'd like to introduce to you the 93rd Commander of the Quincy Veterans Council, Mr. Peter Walsh.
Thank you, George, and thank you all for coming out today. I want to say Happy Veterans Day to my fellow veterans and thank those who are still serving for their service. I'd like to thank the Quincy Veterans Council for allowing me to serve this year. I'd also like to thank the Quincy Police Department, the Quincy Fire Department, and the Quincy Color Guard, Police Color Guard, for their service, continued service to our community. And also I'd like to thank all the first responders. So happy Veterans Day and have a safe day. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. As we know, today's a very historic day. We stood here last year and we celebrated the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I. Today is a historic day because we celebrate the 100th anniversary of the creation of Armistice Day, a permanent remembrance about World War I. And here in Quincy, we celebrate another historic event. We recently just elected what is now will be the longest serving mayor in the history of the city of Quincy. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Thomas P. Coe.
Thank you, George. Reverend Swanson, Commander Walsh, Commander Ryan, my colleagues in government, Mayor Phelan, Mrs. Durgan, Gold Star family member, and to the public, thank you for being here today to honor our veterans. As you know, Memorial Day is set aside each year, started by President Lincoln, to honor those that gave the ultimate sacrifice. And Veterans Day was started a number of years ago to honor all of our veterans, those who have served and those who continue to serve. General Patton once said that every soldier plays a role in victory at war. Not everyone is in the front lines, but everyone plays a part. He said everybody is a link in that chain, and that chain ultimately being successful in victory. Well, we have many different ranks here today, many who served our country, our nation, over the different times of war, and I want to single out two here today. We're right by the World War II Memorial, so Mr. Santoro and Mr. Erickson, two World War II vets with us here today. Thank you for your service. But no matter the rank, it's when the individual raises their hand and swears allegiance to the country, they become veteran. So to all of you veterans here, thank you for your service. To all of our veterans who continue to serve all across the world, we keep them in our prayers. We ask God to bless them and to continue to bless these United States of America. Enjoy the day.
The mayor can't do everything in the city of Quincy, although some people would dispute that, without the help of the Quincy City Council. And it is my honor to introduce to you the President of the Quincy City Council, Brad Crow.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before I begin my brief remarks, I just wanted to single out a couple of my colleagues and your friends from the various delegations. We're joined here today by District Attorney Michael Morrissey, State Senator John Keenan, State Representative Taki Chan, State Representative Bruce Ayers, Register of Probate Pat McDermott, former Mayor Bill Phelan, my colleagues on the Quincy City Council, Ward 1 City Councilor Dave McCarthy, Councilor-elect Charles Phelan from Ward 5, Ward Councilor from Ward 6 Bill Harris, Councilors at Large Nina Liang, Ann Mahoney, Noel DeBona, from the School Committee the Vice Chairwoman Emily Lebo, Kathy Hubley, Doug Gutrow, Anthony Andronico, and Mr. Paul Bergoli. It's great to be with you here today as we gather in gratitude to thank and honor our veterans in this great city. I'd like to begin my remarks by saying, veterans, we owe you our gratitude. Veterans, we owe you our freedom. I had the privilege of spending this past weekend at various events throughout the city that acknowledge the courageous acts of our veterans. I've been reflecting intently on all of these sacrifices a veteran makes when answering the call of duty. Of course, risking one's life is the greatest sacrifice one is willing to make. But these soldiers also sacrifice weddings, births, first steps, graduations, and other key life events they put on hold while serving their country. Considering the total act of selflessness to serve, I truly feel blessed to live in a city that so actively encourages the recognition of our modern day heroes. With that in mind, I had begun to share with my 4-year-old son the importance of Veterans Day and the importance of the armed forces. It can be very tricky to break down the magnitude of a veteran's selfless acts and translate it into a digestible dialogue. However, I know that there is one thing that we all can do. We can show up at events and parades like this and bring our families and the next generation so that they can see and have a sense of gratitude for the freedom that our country offers. Veterans, we owe you our gratitude. Veterans, we owe you our freedom. Thank you all for being here, and God bless.
I hate when I have to put the microphone back down to my level. I just want to get up here and say a few words before I introduce the next gentleman. I want to thank everyone for being here today. Everyone that participated in the parade today, thank you, thank you, thank you. How was that parade? I thought it was wonderful. Thank you for all the colorettes. Quincy Police, Quincy Fire Honor Guards, and my beloved Ladies Auxiliary from the Morissette Post 294. Thank you, ladies. It's a lot of work to put the parade together, but when you see it end like it ended today, it was well worth it. So thank you. I want to recognize the veterans that are in the audience today. Please, you don't go unnoticed. Please, if you're a veteran out there, please raise your hand to be recognized. Please, gentlemen, ladies, look at that. Thank you for your service. Thank you. And with that, I would like to introduce to you your next speaker. He's my boss, or boss is. I have many bosses. He's the Director of Veteran Services, Mr. George F. Nicholson. Sir.
I'd be happy to let George say all the thank yous that needed to be said today, because the fact of the matter is, as would come as no surprise to any of you, there's a lot of work goes behind the scenes to put something like this together. And we always hope that for all the work we put into it, the response is a turnout like we have here today. So again, thank you all for being here. And a very special thank you, he never likes to take the credit, the guy that does the yeoman's work in getting this parade put together every year and all the bands and everything that goes with it is George Bouchard. George.
Stand up, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah. Anybody need to see him again before he stands up again?
It's not about me today.
Yeah. Reverend Swanson said earlier, we had a lot of conflicts as long as this country's been in existence. We started with what we needed with the Plymouth colonies, the earlier wars that Jack alluded to. You have the Revolutionary War, you had the War of 1812, Civil War, we had the Spanish-American War, the Boxer Rebellion, Persian incursion into Mexico to get Pancho Villa. We had World War I, the one we thought would end all wars. We had World War II. We had Vietnam. We had Lebanon, Grenada, the incursion into Panama to get the dictator out of there. And since August 2nd of 1990, we have been in the midst of the longest war and combat period in American history. So there is more than enough reason for us to be out here today to say thank you to all of those who served. And I just wanted to mention that, just to give you a quick idea, Quincy's not a large city, you all know that. But Quincy's contribution to the defense of America has always outsized in percentage its population for many towns around us. Just to run some quick numbers by you, for World War II, we had just over 8,500 veterans from the city of Quincy, which was a much smaller population then. 1,500 Quincy residents served in Korea. We had 1,900, almost 2,000 Quincy citizens serve in Vietnam. And to date, we have just over 1,400 who served in the Gulf War, OEF, OIF, liberation of Kuwait, and where we operate now. And that's over 13,400 citizens of the city of Quincy who have served this country and served it well. City of Quincy will never forget that. You see below me a sign that says, "Welcome to the city of Quincy, a Purple Heart City." That was a ceremony we had last year to recognize those who spilled blood and died, also included, from this city in the defense of liberty. This sign will be posted up just off the Neponset Bridge as you come in from the north side. We will have another sign in a couple of weeks that will go up down on the Rotary that will say the same thing. So you will recognize coming and going that there is no more dedicated a city to veterans in the state than the city of Quincy. As we mentioned, the mayor mentioned several of our World War II vets who are here today. December 7th will be the 78th anniversary of the start of World War II. We'll have our ceremony in the morning over here at Mount Wildston at 10 o'clock. And then at 1 o'clock, we're having a special ceremony to honor the remaining World War II vets that we've got here in the city. That'll be conducted at Quincy City, at the auditorium in Quincy High School. And you will all be invited to come and join us as we try to say thank you one more time to those of the greatest generation who are still with us. Next, when we have the Memorial Day ceremony this coming spring, that will mark the 75th anniversary of Germany's surrender in World War II. And then in August is when Japan surrendered and the war was over completely. The average age of our World War II vets now is more than 96. And so we decided we did not want to wait another 6 months and test God's will. So we're going to do that, and hopefully we can do justice to the contribution that these men and women made to us while we were sitting at home taking care of our families. It would now be my honor to introduce to you our guest speaker. Normally, when we do the guest speaker, I have a long list of accolades listing all the experiences that our guest speaker has, all the awards and decorations that they've earned, he or she has earned. A lot of it falls on deaf ears. You have no idea what some of these medals are and some of the decorations. Commander Ryan Segerty is the commander of the Naval Support Unit here in Quincy. That's one of his supporters right there. That's the canine version of hoorah, if anybody really wants to know. Commander Segerty has a long and distinguished history with the United States Navy. He's got over 3,000 hours in the air as a helicopter pilot, and rescue, and a number of other opportunities that he had. He has served as an Operations Support Center commander in a number of places. He came here, for those of us who are in the service, we always wondered how they put together the change of command, the change of stations they always sent us to, and what we did to deserve or not deserve it. Commander Segerty has decided he will set his home here in Massachusetts when his tour is up, and we're thrilled at that. But he's still in the military right now, and why he left an assignment in Hawaii to come here to Quincy is only up to the Chief of Staff of Naval Operations to answer that question, and we'll never know. But we are honored to have him here with us today and to do all that he does for the veterans of this community that you'll never know. Part of the duties he has is when we have funerals for Navy veterans, it's his naval personnel who show up to pay the final tribute. That's enough for me. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to present to you Commander Ryan Segerty.
Good morning. Mayor Koch, city officials, honored guests, fellow service members, citizens of the city of Quincy, thank you for the invitation to speak with you today. I'm Lieutenant Commander Ryan Segerty, Commanding Officer of Navy Operational Support Center, Quincy. I'm always honored to speak on behalf of the Navy, but it's especially humbling to stand here in uniform today and speak about the many American heroes we honor on this special day. Today, we do a wonderful job of supporting veterans, both past and present, through various governmental programs, services, and outreach. The VA, while in the news over the past years for various shortfalls, we have seen a resurrection of this institution, and it can only be attributed to the political environment expected by the citizenry. Not only government agencies signal their appreciation, but many local and national businesses also cater to the unique services undertaken by our veterans. But this day is so much more. Veterans Day is a special holiday, a single day during which we honor the sacrifices of those who have worn the uniform in service to our nation and continue to build upon the legacy of past generations. Instead of symbols such as yellow ribbons or special programs in the media, on this special day we celebrate the individuals who over the years sacrificed so much in defense of our freedom. I would like to take a moment to recognize a few individuals, veterans, who have influenced my life. My grandfather, Louis Segerty, who served honorably in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. He is still with us today, made the U.S. Army a career, and was an inspiration, demonstrating the many sacrifices one would make for their country. Secondly, my father, Dennis Segerty, served a tour of duty in Vietnam with the U.S. Army as well. Decided to pursue civilian endeavors shortly after returning to the States. Strong role models for me to emulate. Neither of these men pushed me into service, but I felt a strong sense of duty, and they supported my career at every turn. From raising my right hand in July of 1994 at the age of 17, through multiple deployments to the Middle East. Now at the end of my career as the commanding officer of Navy Operational Support Center Quincy, the road has been long and difficult at times, but has been made significantly easier because of the previous generations of veterans, like my father and grandfather, as well as the strong support of others in the community. We think about the individual veteran, and we also need to consider their families, friends, as we mark this special day, by celebrating the legacy of those who have stood the line before and those who continue to march in harm's way. For a long time, Veterans Day seemed to be at risk of becoming just another day off of work, a reason to have a party, catch up on chores around the house, or, depending on the weather, not so much today, the unofficial beginning of winter. But in recent years, a collective shift in thinking has transpired. A new awareness of the sacrifices our military members are making is emerging, becoming ingrained in part of our American experience. Who knows exactly caused this shift? Maybe it was the lessons learned from the Vietnam conflict, or perhaps the shared experience of seeing today's young men and women fighting in Iraq and Afghanistan. Or it could even be the many movies and TV shows that suddenly shed new lights on the real sacrifices our service members make. Regardless of the reason, something has changed about the way Americans now think of their heroes, and that shift transcends politics, cultural differences, and religion. President Kennedy once said, "A nation reveals itself not only by the men it produces, but also by the men it honors, the men it remembers." Of course, today we equally honor servicemen and women, but the sentiment remains crystal clear. A key component of our nation's greatness lies in our ability to honor, appreciate, and cherish through our actions all those who have sacrificed to ensure our freedom. We often hear that freedom has a price and that each generation pays its due. Today is our day to say thank you for those who for generations have foot the bill, those who have missed birthdays, anniversaries, graduations, and to their families and friends whose lives have been disrupted, and to whom we owe an enormous debt. Gathering together on this day is one way to show our appreciation and gratitude. But how do we extend the reverence we feel today through the other days of the year? And more importantly, how do we instill and deepen the tradition of this special day for coming generations of Americans? How do we ensure that Veterans Day continues to be observed with profound reverence, regardless of whether or not we are a nation at war? Let me make a few suggestions. First, we must teach each other about sacrifices that have been made on our behalf so we might continue to enjoy the liberties and freedoms granted in our Constitution. We must help future generations understand that, politics aside, the act of committing yourself to your country and being willing to fight for the freedom of others is among the most noble of endeavors. Second, each of us must find a way to ensure the legacy of our heroes endures in what has become a soundbite culture. These dedicated men and women are worth more than that, more than a 20-second soundbite. Contributions to history deserves telling and retelling. Find a way in your life, at work or home, at church or youth group meeting, wherever, to keep their story alive. Honor their sacrifices, tell their stories, cherish their memories. Finally, continue to gather on this special day, each year to pay homage to each and every veteran. Make this day an annual reminder of the need to give yourself in honor of those who stand tall in the face of battle. Treat Veterans Day with reverence and respect. Others will follow your lead. Our military is one of the greatest powers. We are one of the world's greatest instruments of peace and humanitarian assistance. Our more than 200-year history is one of service, pride, and heroism. We project power in a moment's notice, secure our world's air and waterways from various threats. We provide food, medicine, and comfort when natural disasters strike. We provide protection, discernance, assistance whenever and wherever needed. And in the course of that duty, we have sacrificed some of the best years of our lives in service of our country. Today, we honor veterans among all the services, past and present, and we assume the unspoken duty to remind our friends, family, neighbors, children, and fellow servicemen about their actions and their call to duty. We happily embrace the responsibility of promoting service to one's country, and we do it out of respect for those who came before. All of the good we do in the world today is because of the legacy given to us by those who have gone before. Their sacrifices helped make the United States military the great power it is today. And with every action undertaken, every conflict resolved, and every life improved by the United States Armed Forces, we pay tribute to these heroes. Thank you for being here today to help celebrate the sacrifice and legacies of those that have served and those that have supported their noble endeavor. Thank you.
Detail 10 hut. Detail present arms. Next step, Director George Nickerson will explain.
We will now have the presentation of the wreaths in honor of our World War II veterans in this monument and the placing of the Gold Star by Angela Durkin, Quincy's Gold Star mother. Firing detail. Prepare to fire a volley in honor of our departed comrades. now, the sounding of taps. Order. Huh.
National anthem.
All right. Now we have the honor of the Quincy High School Chorus to lead us in the singing of our national anthem.
You have to make some room for them. There's 8
Come on up. Have a seat.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Chaplain Swanson, would you like to step forward and give us our final benediction?
Years ago, as a young adult, I was in Prince Edward Island with my father, and I commented, gee, Dad, the red sand's so beautiful. And he said one word under his breath, Borneo. I said, what? And he said, nothing. He was referring to Battle of Borneo, Balapatan, Solomon Islands, where the sand was red with the blood of the brave. And as Lot said to Abraham, may the Lord watch over thee and me as we are apart one from another. Amen.
Amen. Cover.
This pretty much concludes the ceremony for this year. And once again, I'd like to thank, on behalf of all the veterans of the city, the citizens of Quincy who are here today and who support us and who will see to it that the legacy of those who serve in defense of America by the city of Quincy will never, ever be forgotten. Thank you all. Enjoy your day.
Detail, hunt. Troops dismissed.